Cheers, Finn. Taste your drink, mate. See if it's any good.
That's delicious. Thank you, Sammy.
Is it good?
Yeah, it is.
Don't lie.
No, it's awesome.
You know, Finn, you're such a nice bloke that you wouldn't even say if it was shit anyway.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you think so.
All cameras good in there? Yep. I got you one of those too, mate.
Oh, cheers. Thank you.
Just hold on to that while you're here.
Yeah, right. Will do.
If you get nervous, you just squeeze it.
Oh, thank you.
Tell me what happened today, Finn.
Oh, this morning?
Yeah, what happened?
My tyre went flat, front left tyre. It's a pain.
And what was the story with it?
Oh, I thought I was going to have to cancel today.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I didn't.
And you walked bloody how long? You walked fucking 2 kilometres down the road?
Yeah, down to the nearest petrol station, yeah. There was nothing there. So
What did you ask for?
I just asked if they had any tyre stuff. They didn't.
I was telling one of the boys at work.
Oh, yeah. What did he say?
Telling Shane.
Oh,
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was Shane.
Yeah, that's good.
Telling Shane, he's like, what the fuck's he going on the servo for? Get a bag of lollies.
Oh, well, back in the day, they used to have everything.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
The old servos,
Yeah.
they'd probably offer to come up there and do it for you.
Yeah, that's right. The one that got passed down that closed down, what is it, on Pass Road? That
Oh,
one,
yeah. 100%.
Yeah, back in the day.
They'd literally they'd say, yeah, we'll send someone there to do it for you.
Yeah, it's nice.
You know, the old days, hey, Finn.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old are you?
21. So I never saw it, but, I'm just assuming. That's what my dad said.
Yeah, but you look 40, Finn, let's be honest.
Thank you.
But a good 40, you know?
I'll take that as a compliment.
You do look like a school teacher.
Well, I go out of my way to dress like one, so.
Yeah, you do. You can hear that music now.
You think you know me?
It's good to have you on, Finn.
Thank you.
We're work buddies. We've been working for a few months together.
Yep.
And the reason I got you on is because every day I get a history lesson from you. And the other day I said to you, I said, don't talk anymore. I said, I don't want to know anymore. I said, I'm going to get you on the podcast and you can just fucking chew me ears to bits.
Oh, well, I hope I still have something left to teach you.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what you should do? You should actually, if you were smart, you would say to me right now, what have I taught you?
Yeah.
And then I've got to tell you.
I suppose so, yeah. Can you tell me about Risdon Cove?
No.
Oh, all right.
No, I know a little bit. So the story goes that, we work together and it's a long day working in pairs. And I don't even know how did we get talking about it? I think it was just
general conversation.
Yeah, I think the Tassie the first settlement, that was the first thing we spoke about.
Yeah.
And after a couple of hours of talking, I was like, fuck, this guy knows a bit, this guy.
Oh, a little bit.
And then I was like, tell me more, and then you just kept going and going. And the next day you was something else, and then it kind of just snowballed from there. And I was like, I've got to get you on because you're full of history and So where did it all start for you, Finn? Like, how did you get into wanting to know? I guess I'm not saying you know everything, which you already said to me the other day.
No.
But
only a little bit.
What you do know. I mean, I'm a fair bit older than you.
Yeah.
And you leave me for dead with history, especially of Tasmania. I don't know if that's a good thing. I should be a bit ashamed of that, but like school and growing up, like what was you like as a kid?
Oh, initially I thought history was a stupid lesson. I didn't know why we were taught it. I thought we should be learning about the sciences, learning about the future, and leaving the history behind, leaving our history behind.
Yeah.
I thought it was very silly, but I sort of realised in about grade 8, maybe partway through grade 7, that actually history is really important and that we wouldn't exist if it weren't for it, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's where I started learning about history, and obviously I started with things like World War II and World War One. They were my main interests.
Yeah.
World War II is kind of considered a bit of mythology for the modern day, really, except it actually happened. Well, we know that it actually happened. It shouldn't be considered that way, but it is.
Yeah.
But then sort of eventually I realised that I should probably start learning about history more, or sort of closer to home. So I started learning about Tasmanian history, thanks in part to now deceased man by the name of Reg Watson, who's a historian, Tasmanian historian.
Yeah.
All his stuff is available on his website still, which is still up, maintained by, I believe, by his daughter.
Yeah.
Now I started talking to him for a completely different reason. It wasn't about Tasmanian history. It was about Tasmanian secession from the rest of Australia. Not that I think that should actually happen, but it was an interesting idea. And then he got me into Tasmanian history. Yeah, of course, that's important. That's our mythology. That's where we come from.
And you were still in school back then? You're talking about school days?
That was a couple of years ago. So I was just out of college at that point.
Yeah. So did you go to uni?
No.
Was you planning to do uni?
I was going to do architecture.
Oh, righto. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's in Launceston, so.
Is that the reason why you didn't go?
That's one of the reasons. I did actually start a university course. It was free, and it was a diploma. It would have been absolutely useless. So I stopped doing that and went to TAFE instead.
What'd you do at TAFE?
I just did a certificate 2 in construction, so it's not, doesn't teach you that much. But it's handy to have some tickets, I suppose.
And you ended up being a labourer at a
yeah, I didn't end up with an apprenticeship like I was hoping. Ended up being a labourer, but it is what it is.
No, you got to pay the bills, don't you?
Oh, I suppose so. That's right.
Just bring that mic a little bit closer.
All right, shall I do?
Thank
you.
So a bit of history in school and stuff. And was you one of those kids at school that, I guess, did you leave playtime till later, and you was always kind of like when the bell rang, you were straight out having lunch and stuff, or was you kind of like, nah, I've got to spend an extra 5 minutes doing this or whatever?
It depends on the subject.
Yeah.
Some of the time I was out, it wasn't one way or the other, I suppose.
Yeah. What school did you go
to? Kingston High School.
Yeah, and college?
Hobart College.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You finished year 12?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're only 20. You say 22?
21.
21. It fucking amazes me.
Oh, well, thank you.
Just the stuff that you've told me, and it's just like, wow, fucking.
Oh, thank you.
So what's something that you're, I don't know if passionate is the right word, but what's something that you think that you are pretty well rounded with knowledge in terms of Tasmanian history?
Oh, with Tasmanian history, I suppose Risdon Cove and leading up to it, but there's always going to be a hell of a lot more to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of my main interest at the moment. Unfortunately, I couldn't tell you a hell of a lot more past then. Just the bare basics, bare bone basics.
Yeah, that was our first conversation, was about that.
Yeah.
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 Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so the history of Risdon Cove, the settlement, really started, well, European-wise, of course, there were Aboriginal people there beforehand, occasionally. The Big River tribe, I think, is the main one. But Shane would know more about that. He'd be able to tell you about that. It really started, I suppose, in 1802, after the French ships, the Geography, I think it's how they're pronounced, Geography and Naturalista, docked in Sydney. And they started, I suppose, the crew of those ships and the people on board those ships, they started associating and having friendships with the people at Sydney. Sydney was quite cut off at the time, so they were always excited to have new people to talk to, different interesting experiences and the like, and even the French, who at the time, between the British and French, it was a bit rough. and I think only 2 years later, the Napoleonic Wars would start. And so it was sort of word got out that the French had been looking at, and specifically those 2 ships, had been looking at Van Diemen's Land, and that's rather close to Sydney.
Yeah.
And so after that was heard, I think it was Philip Gidley King, governor of Sydney at the time, or New South Wales as a whole at the time. He had heard about that and was quite shocked because he had actually struck up quite a good friendship with Bowden. Pardon me. With Bowden, the captain of I believe it was the geography. And he decided that they had to start a settlement, and they sent out a boat. To go and catch up to the 2 ships. They'd already left at this point. To catch up to them and deliver them a letter which said that that the British were taking control of Van Diemen's Land, that they had already claimed it, and that the French should be on their way. So they got a crew together. I think it was 16 people, including James Meehan, who was going to be a very important surveyor at Risdon Cove later on. And really surveyed the area around Hobart that we have today. So yes, they'd send out this boat called the Cumberland, Charles Robbins as captain, and they caught up to the boats off King Island. I think it was called in Sea Elephant Bay, I think it was. Anyone can correct me if I'm wrong. And handed them this note after dining with the captain of the geography, dining with Bowden, Charles Robbins. And they later were quite shocked with the news, actually, because it seemed like a bit of a betrayal on the part of Governor King. It's actually quite an embarrassing story, unfortunately, for the British, because they didn't have time to stock gunpowder nor a flag, so they actually had to ask the French for both gunpowder and a flag so that they could take formal possession of Van Diemen's Land.
Really?
Yeah, so after the French had sent out off the Naturalista, sent out their scientists to set up camp and start doing some surveying and some discovery. The British, led by Charles Robbins, there was a small party that was sent out to the shore, including, I think, a few sentries, soldiers. They raised the flag, fired a volley in the air.
Do you know, whereabouts was it? What was the location of that flag?
That flag, I believe that was on King Island.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it was claiming, I believe, I could be wrong, but that was claiming all of Van Diemen's Land.
Yeah.
And they, using the French gunpowder and using French textiles for the flag.
That's crazy.
Pardon me, sorry. Yeah. And they took control of Van Diemen's Land that way. So it's a bit embarrassing, but of course it's an important moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the very, very moment that they reached Tassie was King Island?
Yeah, that was...
So the part where they've actually docked, is there something there now that's still there today that's...
not that I know of.
Okay.
I assume there might be, but I'm not sure. The flag wouldn't be there. That would indicate. They left a sentry there to guard it for a bit, and the French made fun of them.
Yeah,
made fun of the poor sentry, poor soldier, poor bloke.
Yeah. And so, does this background of your interest in history, does it come from your parents at all?
No, not really. No.
So your parents are like, fucking got this smart kid.
No, not necessarily. No.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have one sister, 2 brothers.
Oh yeah. What do they do?
They're all in school at the moment.
Yeah. They're all younger than you.
Yes. Yeah. One's a gymnast, up and coming gymnast. Is very, very good at it. Actually got endorsed by David O'Byrne. Not really, not actually, but I just know him.
Yeah.
And he's now leading some some of the teams there and teaching some of the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Right.
that's good. Yeah, and my
Yeah.
sister works at KFC. So it's very exciting.
That's so funny. So you're doing labour now, and you're trying to get into apprenticeship.
Yeah.
What do you actually want to do?
I suppose electrical work would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with, history and.
I would do. There's not a huge amount of jobs out there, unfortunately. I don't really want to be a history teacher because I don't want to deal with little children being annoying.
I thought you were going to say politics.
Oh, yeah, all that too.
Do you ever apart from, talking to me at work and other people like that,
Yeah.
do you ever get into big lengthy conversations about history and stuff?
Much to the dismay of my girlfriend, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you get into arguments at all? Do you debate and stuff, or do you just kind of go, yep, I don't want to,
No, not with my girlfriend, not really, no. I mean,
just general people though.
Yeah, occasionally. Yeah, I don't know about arguments, but debates. I do try to assert my point sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not always successful, and then I learn. It's good.
Yeah. No, it was good because the other day you was like, I said I want to get you on, and you were like, I don't know everything, and I could be wrong about certain things, and if someone corrects me, you're more than happy to go, yeah, that's awesome. Like, you like learning, and
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And so it was most of what you know, because I mean, I guess this isn't a history lesson, so we don't want to go through everything because people get bored. But
yeah, no, I understand.
All the stuff that you know of now, is that just from school, or is that from being at home and just learning? And
some of it's from school, but most of it's just stuff that I've found either on the internet or I've read in a book, or I've read on a placard or something out in town that talks about the history of a location or something.
Yeah. And so, like, on weekends and stuff, you'd probably travel around and visit certain places and that?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Not often. Occasionally in Hobart you'll see the occasional placard. I like to stop and read it, or find an old convict site or something. Or
do you know anything about, Eagle Hawk Neck? Do you know anything about the blowhole and...
blowhole, what, down
Eagle Hawk Neck?
Not...
Yeah, the neck?
I know that there was a bushranger who escaped across Eagle Hawk Neck by swimming naked with a few other people in shark-infested waters. That was quite an exciting story, yeah. Escaping from Port Arthur.
Yeah, right.
But that's, not a huge amount. I can't remember his name. I think it was Martin Cash, actually.
Oh, yeah. Because we were down there last weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And you've obviously been there. You've seen the blowhole and...
No, I haven't actually been down there. Not recently, anyway. I probably have at some point, but
because they've got little lookouts, and you see the cliff faces and stuff, and the water's right down. You look right down, and then they've got boards there, which it kind of explains. I think it's thousands of years or millions of years of what's happened.
Oh wow!
But I'm thinking the carvings in the cliff faces.
Yeah.
Is so defined and so unique. It's almost like someone's made, but it's actually the water and the salt.
Yeah,
it's actually eating away at the rock.
It is impressive.
But what I was thinking is the water, because you're looking right down, the water's 100 meters down, and you're up on top of the cliff. But I'm wondering if millions of years ago did the water cover the majority of the land back millions of years ago?
Millions of years ago, I very well could have. Obviously, things move around. I'm not massively knowledgeable on
that kind
geography,
of stuff.
But I mean, I suppose it could. As I understand, it depends how many millions of years we're talking about. But the water was lower, was much lower than it is now. Yeah. Water rises and falls naturally, and I don't just mean the tides, but it, the sea level does rise and fall.
This is over 100 meters.
Yeah,
and the water's down, and I'm thinking the water must have been up at that point at some point,
I'm sure it probably
because it's a big difference. It's not like it's a meter. We're talking 100.
Yeah.
And it's at some point the water must have covered, or had been that high at some point. It's just crazy to think. If you haven't been there, it's hard to explain, but it's pretty fucking crazy.
Oh,
actually, I've probably got photos on my phone. and you'll see what I mean. It's
Yeah.
like it's just crazy to think that the water at some point was that high. I don't know if
Yeah.
it was, but from the board, it says that it was created by. So if you look at stuff like that,
Yeah, yep.
like all that's the way the rock is,
Yeah.
and from what I could read, and obviously that's like really really low. Like see how carved it is,
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
and the water's way down there, but it's like at some point the water must have been up to that level.
Yeah.
Because what it explains on the board is that the salt in the water is what
Eroded it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh, it must have been.
So you don't know much about that sort of stuff?
No, unfortunately not.
Come on, Finn.
I know a couple facts, but like I don't know a hell of a lot, unfortunately. No, there used to be a
drink your bloody hot chocolate, mate.
We'll do.
That's all you came here for. So what's the biggest thing that you're passionate about
Biggest thing that I'm passionate about
in terms of history?
in terms of history? Well, I suppose it might be sort of some of the people, or the things I think are most important are definitely the people that have, through their decisions, have allowed our society to exist as it is today, and have sort of strived for that legacy, have strived for it to exist, not just by chance, but have actually actively engaged in activities to try and make life better for the people there then, so that we can exist today. I think that's...
Are you talking about like governments, or are you talking about like just individual people that have...
Both.
Yeah.
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 What do you think Tassie's going to be like in... I won't say 10, because 10 years is so quick. Let's say...
Yeah.
Let's say 50 to 100 years. What do you think
Bugger.
Tassie's going to look like?
That's difficult.
Give me your thoughts on it.
Anything I say now, if this is dug up, people are going to go, wow, what an idiot. Why do you think it's going to be like this? I think it's going to be a lot more built up. I think it's not going to be, massive high-rise developments, but we're definitely going to expanded out into the countryside a hell of a lot more.
As in the city's going to go out further.
Yeah. I think Kingston's eventually going to merge with Hobart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that gap in between will be
Yeah.
pretty much where the southern outlet is.
Yeah. I think that's going to be filled everywhere through what is it, Albion Road and
Yeah.
up through there.
I used to live up there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll tell a story later about that.
Up around Proctor's, is it? Or
Yeah, no. It was actually in Albion Road, I think.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
So you think obviously, I suppose that's just a given though, isn't it? Like the population just gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
It's not getting any less.
That's it. I mean, Tasmania's a small place, but I mean, we've got sort of almost constant immigration. I know not all of them are permanent, but a lot of them are. And then there's also, there's not necessarily rising birth rates, but there's definitely, I suppose there are.
Yeah.
Not rising birth rates. It's kind of I think, as I understand, it's a constant birth rate, but it's rising population still.
Yeah.
There's
more people coming than there is going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either coming into the world or coming.
Yeah.
Here.
So with the future of Tassie, like you're saying, the population and stuff, but what's your thought? Are you a pro stadium guy or?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, with the stadium, of course, that's going to be a bit of a factor.
What do you think about that?
I don't know if it's really fit for Tasmania. I'm not.
Give me your reasons, though.
All right. I don't know. Tasmania is a small place. If you want big city things, go to a big city, I suppose. But I can understand why people want it. People have argued for it for a while, and they've wanted a team for a long time. So I do understand. But I mean, of course, I don't speak for all Tasmanians. I'm only 21. I don't have a hell of a lot of life experience. But from my perspective, Tasmania has always been a bit of a small place, going right back to the beginning of European settlement in Tasmania, or even the Aboriginal population was low compared to that of the mainland.
Yeah.
It's always been pretty small. So having something like a stadium, a very big city thing, we're either only going to get a hell of a lot more development. Things are going to get more congested, like you were saying at work there, or it's going to have constant expansion outwards. Maybe Cambridge would be an alright place for it, but I don't know about the centre of Hobart. Yeah.
Well, so what do you say to people that say like, everyone's got different reasons, but like there's the whole team thing, but there's just so many people that don't even follow football and it's got nothing to do with football that want the stadium because of events.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. They want events, or they think it's going to bring money to the local hotels, the local community, and the like. Might do, or it might be an embarrassment.
So my theory on it is, so I'm a little bit in the middle.
Yeah, I understand.
So I'm more like kind of what you said. I think so. As you know, I play in the city regularly.
Yeah.
And I think that if there was a stadium in the city and it's already established, I think that if there is an event on, and for example, if I'm playing that night in the city, it's going to be fucking huge because at the end of the event, everyone's just going to stumble into the city. Yep. And the city's going to... I don't even know if the city could handle that sort of capacity at the moment.
No, certainly not at the moment. We're not built to really expand much more.
But I could be wrong, but I think that if it happened, I think the prices would rise on everything.
Oh, yeah.
Just hotels, alcohol.
There'd be a lot more competition.
Yeah.
Certainly. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And we're not really, I suppose, built for more expansion, so we're not going to be able to accommodate
that's right.
a higher influx of goods.
You know what I think, though? I think the one thing, and you can elaborate on this.
Yeah.
Why the fuck did Tasmania get rid of the rail system? Like passenger rail system.
Yeah, look, I understand it. It wasn't, again, a lot of the time with our politicians, our councils, they don't really think much into the future, or they do with malicious intent.
Yeah.
From what I've seen and from what I've heard, the rail system, they got rid of it because people just weren't using it. Most people were driving, so they didn't, especially after we expanded all the highways up through the Midlands. Or we made them better. They kind of already existed. But after they were made better, the rail system was just kind of made redundant because people wanted to drive instead. So there just wasn't any money in it, and so they had to stop it all.
Is that actually the fact? That's the reason?
That's the given reason, I think, yeah.
And so the actual... I think the rail system's still there, isn't it? Like say from Glenorchy to the city, is it still there?
Some of it.
Yeah. So do you think if they brought the stadium, they would bring that back, or do you think that's gone forever?
Well, the idea at the moment is they're going to build a rapid bus transit system. That's the idea.
What's that?
So it's they're using the old up through the northern suburbs rail line. They're using all that. They're going to rip it all up, and instead they're going to build a bus lane there that only buses use.
Like where the rail system already is?
Yeah. They're going to rip it all up.
Really?
Yeah. Danny from work could tell you all about it.
As in like a one way thing, or a two-way?
Two-way.
How do they get the room for that?
Probably use the intercity. Was it the intercity bikeway? Yeah. They'll rip that up too, I assume. Maybe, and then have...
just go backwards to go forwards?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. I mean, they already ripped up the other... There were two rails running parallel to each other there. They already ripped that up for the intercity bikeways, bike lanes.
Because they still use the rail system from like, I think from Boyer up to north.
Yeah. For
I think for logs and stuff.
Yeah, for goods.
Yeah. But just the passenger. But yeah, I think if they do, I don't know. I haven't really thought too much of the stadium.
Yeah.
To actually have an opinion.
Yeah.
But I will say though that yesterday there was a crash on the bridge, right?
Oh yeah, I heard my dad was stuck in that actually.
I was too.
Oh bugger.
Yeah, not. I didn't go over the bridge. I got to the bridge and then went Lindisfarne.
Yeah, nice.
But I was stuck in it for a good 20 minutes.
Yep.
And then I had to do a job in Claremont.
Yep.
And I came back over the bridge, coming back this way.
Yep.
And the traffic was backed all the way like to Cambridge.
Yeah, right.
Like it was fucked, right? And so you probably saw on Pulse or maybe online there was an article about it.
Yep. I saw that.
And all the comments were just, imagine if there was a stadium, imagine if there was an event on in the city and this is what it's going to be like. And
that's
do
right.
you reckon that's what's going to happen?
Oh, almost certainly. I suppose if there's an event. Well, it wouldn't be happening during the time in between.
Yeah, but like coming and going when there's an event on.
Yeah, it's going to be dreadful.
And you live in Kingston too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. There's so many people that are for it.
Yeah.
And obviously against it, but what is the hold up?
Sorry, the hold up for building it?
Yeah, what's
I'm not sure. I haven't looked at it too much, but I think it's just planning. I think they've started clearing.
So is it actually approved yet or not?
I think they have approved it now, as I understand. I think they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it will happen.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe it will fall through. Maybe it'll be halfway built and then they'll abandon it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Might lose money. I don't know.
You know, you're into conspiracies, aren't you?
A little bit. Yeah. Some of them.
Let's go down a path, shall we?
I'm all for it.
9/11.
9/11.
Yeah.
Bush did it.
Finn, give me your thoughts
on 9/11.
Yeah.
Well, it's mighty convenient.
Yeah,
United States government.
Honest opinions. Elaborate on it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think either the government did it or they let it happen. The United States government, that is. They let it happen, and then knowing that it was going to happen, they could start a war, and then from the war they would be able to then further crack down on people's privacy and people's general freedoms, not just in the United States but all over the Western world, including Australia. I think they started the Five Eyes Pact partially because of 9/11 or the War on Terror, and that allows the United States government, Canadian government, government of the United Kingdom, and goodness, I've lost the last one. My apologies, but I think it's New Zealand, to spy on Australia, and then in return we're allowed to spy on them as well and report any findings. Yeah, I mean, obviously, war's very, very profitable. Makes a lot of money.
So I understand what you're saying about like that stuff, but what about like why the towers? Why the?
It's a big symbol. It was a big symbol for the West at the time. I wasn't around when it happened, so I'm only looking back and hearing from what other people have said. But I don't know if you would actually remember seeing the towers on television or even caring.
Yeah, no, I was only 11 or 12.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
That's right.
At the time anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, I sometimes get into articles online and stuff about it, and I'm actually on this page on Facebook that's like every day they just post stuff that's just like, the conspiracies of it, and just saying like that the plane wasn't even real.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Like there was no one actually on the plane. It was just basically just a bomb.
Yeah, I've heard about stuff.
And
like that,
there was bombs being detonated
in the building.
At the lower level.
Yeah, I've heard.
And then like the fuel from a jet plane isn't hot enough to melt steel and just stuff like that. Like everyone's heard it all before, but I think with everything, like we'll never know. Yeah.
I mean, I think that the thing about jet fuel not being able to melt steel beams, that is true. It can't actually melt steel beams, but it really lowers their capacity to hold a load.
Yeah.
And so they would just collapse under
Yeah.
that weight. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then from there, when something collapses in on itself, it creates
Yeah.
from what I've heard, it creates a pressure difference, and then it's going to have an impact on the lower levels, and that's why it looked like a controlled demolition.
So even though, like, with what you said about like starting the war and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that was really the end result. But do you still believe that 9/11 happened the way it was broadcast, or do you think there's conspiracies about?
Well, the way it was,
do you think it was actually a terror attack, and or do you think it was all planned?
I think the attack on the towers was. The attack on the Pentagon, probably not.
Why do you say that though? Because it was the exact same time.
It was.
Like that'd be a pretty weird coincidence.
They would have foreknowledge potentially. I mean, just by the looks of the damage on the Pentagon, it doesn't look like the kind of damage that plane would have done. It's not even the same size.
Yeah.
Obviously, I could be wrong, and we'll probably never know until a billion years in the future when it's declassified information. But,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I suppose all we do know is fucking 2,500 people died that day.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Innocent people lost their lives. Yeah.
I was telling you the other day. Remember the photo I showed you the other day about the guys? I think you said it was New York. The guys on the beam.
Yeah.
Back in the 1930s, was it 40s? 50s,
30s, 1930s, 32, I think it was.
That's because I showed you. Or did you show me?
You showed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought it must have been
20s.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But how fucking crazy is that back in those days? They would sit in a high-rise building.
Yeah.
Well, not a building, but
the beam of
the beam of the tower that they're building with no harness.
Oh, it's impressive, isn't it?
No fucking safety hats.
That's
nothing.
right.
Just sitting there eating their lunch, I think, or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the most famous photos ever.
Yeah.
Because I think I was in a job interview, and the guy had it on his wall.
Yeah. Oh, it's inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember I think I looked it up or something, but I thought it was trade centers. But what was it?
Right. I think it was
Was it Chicago? No.
Was it the Chrysler building?
No. I can't think what it was now. But
I know exactly the building. A plane crashed into it later, but I can't remember.
Did it?
Yeah, it wasn't
Really?
the Chrysler building, but the name has completely slipped my mind.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but a small one-engine plane crashed into it and killed 2 people.
So it didn't knock it down?
No, just put a big hole.
Yeah, right.
In the top. It was because it was a foggy day, and
so it was a complete accident.
Yeah, it was a complete accident. Yeah.
Do you care for much of like other countries' history, or do you just care about Australia?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't look at it as much as I do Tasmania's. Even mainland Australia's, I don't look at nearly as closely as I do Tasmania's.
Yeah. What other good history lessons can you give us on Tassie?
On Tasmania?
Yeah.
I could tell you a little bit about Risdon Cove.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, okay. So in September 1803, I know we're just talking about 9/11.
Yeah, that's
it's
ironic.
Pure coincidence. September 11, 1803, the Lady Nelson, I have it all there in a book next to me, but I think it was the Lady Nelson, docked in Risdon Cove. No, it must have been the Albion. Sorry. The Albion docked in Risdon Cove, and a day later, it was Lieutenant John Bowen, Commandant of the new settlement, sort of stepped off, and then they went ahead and established, I believe it was the Stone Storehouse, which unfortunately isn't there anymore. Actually, none of the buildings are there anymore. And that's officially when the settlement started, when the Commandant arrived. I think the Lady Nelson had already been there since the 9th.
So when that happened, right?
Yes.
Did they know that there were already Aborigines on the land, or they didn't know that at that point?
They did know, but I don't believe they knew that place was apparently a routine hunting ground.
So they knew there were Aborigines on the land.
Yeah.
So what did they care about them at the point, or they were like, we're going to kill them if they come near us? What was it like?
I think it was just it was sort of an uncertainty of what to do about it. I don't think they necessarily wanted to go ahead and kill them. It depends on person to person. It's not quite as black and white, so to speak, as people put it. The French actually had quite good relations with the Aboriginals.
And you said they were on their way to Tassie first.
Yeah, they were. They'd actually been the French and British, and the Dutch were the first ones to find Tasmania. First Europeans to find Tasmania. Correction. Yes, it was the French and the French and then the British thereafter. And then there was sort of the French and the British. The Dutch was sort of out of the picture at this point, but the French and the British were they weren't feuding, but just taking their turns at exploring the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they got to Risdon, Risdon Cove, and they were going to settle there.
Yeah.
Why did they go to Hobart?
Later.
Where it is now? Like, why? Because the city was going to be there, yeah?
Yeah, it was going to be at Risdon, yes, yeah. So both settlements were actually called Hobart, but the one at Sullivan's Cove, which is Hobart today, was called Hobart Town.
So that was another settlement that they had, like just another town?
Yeah, but the first one was Risdon. So they settled Risdon, and Risdon, for a myriad of reasons, was failing. So they didn't have a good supply of water. They didn't have very good leadership, unfortunately, for John Bowen. He was only 23 at the time. It's excusable, I'd say, but he wasn't a particularly effective leader. He didn't have the respect of the New South Wales Corps.
So why was the Bowen Bridge named after him then?
It's near the settlement, I assume.
Yeah,
and he was the first Tasmanian leader, really.
Yeah.
Or Vandemonian leader.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the one who established the first settlement in Tasmania, so he's a very important figure, but most people forget his name, unfortunately.
So when, like back in those days, right? So did they come here, and then just like, kind of just like start walking and put a flag down, and then walk to another spot and put a flag down? Like how? Because I read somewhere that they obviously come to Risdon Cove, and then there's a few other places, but then they went to New Norfolk. As well. So obviously there's a river that goes right to, so they just on a boat and then ended up at New Norfolk and put a flag there and said
so James Meehan, a few people before him, but James Meehan I think is the sort of most notable an Irish convict actually at the time, a very, very effective surveyor. He went and explored, I believe, all the way up to New Norfolk. He managed to get that far. But John Bowen himself, they only got so far, I believe, as Herdsman's Cove for a while, and then they just continued exploring thereafter. There were a good few people who did different expeditions. They didn't just stick a flag down. And
how did they do that then? Because that's what I just thought. They just put a flag there and say that they come back later. And how did they actually claim that land?
Well, they just sort of mapped it out, and then there was a general agreed upon, we own this land. If you want to come and take it, then you're going to have to come and take it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did they had people there, like, stay there kind of thing, or?
No. No, they just sort of went out and came back again.
Yeah.
As it was already charted that the entirety of Tasmania belonged to the British.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of a hands-off kind of thing. This is already our area. If you try to establish a settlement here, we'll go to war with you potentially.
Yeah, righto. Yeah.
Over it, or at least within the settlement.
What was the conflict with the Aboriginals at Risdon Cove?
That was the first major conflict.
What happened then?
It's very difficult to say. The official story from the time, the official contemporary to the time story, was that a group of Aboriginals attacked a farmer. I can't remember his name, but he owned the. Was that
because of a fight over who owned the land, or was that just a random attack?
The official story was that it was a random attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a member of the New South Wales Corps fired upon the Aboriginal when he was approaching the farmer's house. And then that started a battle thereafter. I suppose battle would be sort of an incorrect term. People call it a massacre. But if the Aboriginals were being belligerent, were the actual belligerents in this case, then sort of battle might be a more appropriate term. Just very one-sided battle.
Yeah.
Where they then fired a cannonade, I think it's called, using grape. I think it had grape shot in it, which was meant to be used to put down convict rebellions. And then all it said is that a great many died. That's the official story.
Yeah.
But there's a few other stories. So there was another man, his last name was White, and he says it went a different way, that there was a group of Aboriginals hunting in the area, and someone then fired on them preemptively, thinking that they were coming to attack the settlement. And then that's what started the massacre. And then sort of someone heard gunfire, assumed that there was a battle happening, and then, it just snowballed from there. And the sort of people got into this heightened sense of fear. I guess before then, James Meehan had already, and a small party, Surveyors Party, had already been attacked by Aboriginals, though they kept a distance at first. But I guess it's important to note that there's different tribes at the time.
Yeah.
There's other people that'd be able to tell you a lot about the tribes. Unfortunately, I don't know a lot about them.
Yeah.
It's most of it's undocumented history, so it's a lot of it's by word of mouth.
Are we talking 1800s here?
Yeah, 1804.
Yeah.
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 And the attack on James Meehan and his party, I think, was 1803.
What was Truganini was the last Aboriginal in Tassie, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Alive.
Well,
last pure blood. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did she die?
Not sure, sorry.
Come on, Vin, you should know that.
No, I know I should.
It was 1900s though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 1900s, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know the last male Aboriginal, he died in the 1860s.
Really?
Yes.
That's it.
Full-blooded, I think. Yeah. William Lanny. I think it was 1860s. Could be wrong. 1870s, maybe. I've forgotten, unfortunately.
Drink your bloody hot chocolate, mate. It's cold now.
It's still good cold, though. It's delicious cold.
Yeah, I love history. I remember you said to me, I think for 2 days you just chewed my ears off, and then
apologies.
I was like, oh, I like a bit of history and that, and then you're like, oh, well, what can you teach me? And I'm like, oh, fucking nothing. And I said I did like a project on the Tasman Bridge.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yep.
Back in school, and then you're like, oh, what do you know about the Tasman Bridge? I'm like, fuck, I forgot everything now. Fell down in like 1972 or 4 or 6 or something.
5, I think.
Oh yeah, so yeah.
Maybe. I could be wrong again, but I think it was 5.
It just fascinates me. That's why I got you on, because I'm just like, yeah, I was never good at that stuff. Oh. And to be honest, I never cared about history.
Yeah.
Through school and even growing up, I could not give a fuck about history. It bored the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's understandable. I understand why people think that.
I think maybe in my 30s, then I started to sort of care a little bit.
Yep.
And sort of wanted to know. But I've been to Port Arthur a couple of times, and there's so many of those signs. You've obviously been there.
Yeah, only once though. It was a long time ago.
Every 2 metres there's a sign that will tell you history about a certain building or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just an overload.
Yeah, I understand that. I feel that same way.
You go there for the day, and you most people just go there to fucking look at it. No one gives a fuck. And then you go into the cells, and then they have audio playing or a sign there that'll a projection screen that'll show something. And you just, when you leave, you kind of I couldn't tell you pretty much anything, and I went there fucking last year.
Yeah.
Or a few months ago.
I understand that there's only so many signs you can read in a day. I completely understand. I mean, so one of the reasons I can't tell you about when Truganini died is because I haven't gotten to that yet. I'm still reading about. I've just finished reading about Risdon. Now I'm reading about the history of my local area and But there's only so much you can read in a day, and
Yeah.
you know, then you get busy. You have to get busy with other things, and if you go to Port Arthur for a day, you can't spend the time
Yeah, that's right.
stopping every 2 meters to read a sign. You know, as good as it is to have that, but you can't absorb all that information in
can't.
one go. Unless you're a super genius.
How do you do your research? Is it mainly books or Google?
Mainly books, a bit of the internet, yeah. A little
So
bit.
you'd still go to a library?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
Have you got your notepad in your jacket right now?
It's not in my jacket.
Oh, damn it.
It's in my bag.
Damn it. That was one of the big things I wanted to...
It's in my bag.
You asked for my phone number yesterday?
Yeah, yep.
Or Friday?
Yeah, yep.
So in this day and age, what's your phone number? You'll get your phone out and you'll go, what's your number?
Yeah.
And the funniest thing was that you were like, can you get it?
Oh, yeah.
Get your notepad.
Oh, yeah, can do.
Because you're like, oh, you can't just grab your number out. I'm like, yeah, no worries. And you pull... Hold that up.
Hold it up.
Hold it up so the camera can see it. That is old fucking school. That is like, as funny as it is, it's fucking cool to see.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think I've ever seen something like that someone holds in their pocket,
Oh, my girlfriend got it for me. So
Yeah, it's freaking awesome.
she gets me a notebook every Christmas.
Does it get full? Do you keep them?
Yeah.
Is it just like daily stuff, or is it actually informative stuff?
It's just stuff every now and again. It's not. It's all scribbles for the most part. There's I don't even know what some of this stuff says because it's all. There we are. Look, I've got the price of petrol written down. It's not or the amount I spent on petrol one particular day. I don't know what day it was.
How much was it?
This was $46.95, I think.
Why'd you write that down? Just to document it?
93. Yeah. Oh, and thumbtacks as well, $2.50. And then under there, I've got something about God. So it's just whatever. I just write whatever in there. Yeah,
I like it.
I don't know. It's good. It's good to have a notepad.
Yeah, it is. It's good. Good to be old school too. I like it.
Oh,
What sort of phone do you have? You got an old bloody
I used to have
keypad.
I've got an old BlackBerry, but I use that mostly as an alarm clock at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm using a modern smartphone at the moment.
So Finn, the last time we spoke on Friday,
Yes.
if you remember, I said don't tell me anymore.
Yes.
Do you remember that was?
Sorry.
Do you remember what it was?
What it was that I wasn't meant to tell you more about? Was it Freemasonry?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So,
I've had
and I said to you, don't tell me anything. I don't want to know anything about it. I know nothing about it.
Yep.
But one of my best friends, Guido, who we're business partners in doing the TV show.
Oh, wonderful.
Every time we drive past this particular place in Norfolk,
Mm-hmm.
just as you get into Norfolk, there's a big sign that says Freemasons.
Yeah, yep.
And every time we drive past, he'd just go on about it. But I would never listen because I'm just not interested in whatever it was that he had to say.
Yeah,
but
fair
then
enough.
I think you brought it up and I went, Freemason, I've heard that before.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you kind of started to tell me, and I was like, no, leave it for the podcast. So now you can spill on
Now I can talk about
what
it.
Freemason is.
I just think they're interesting as a group. I don't even know.
So talk to me as if I know nothing about it.
So officially, Freemasons, they say they exist to make good men better. That's the idea. I'm not one myself, but my grandfather is. They, on my father's side, the idea is that it's based on, they consider themselves, I suppose, to be continuing the tradition of the ancient rites and practices of various secret societies of the past, say the Knights Templar, or even going right back to King Solomon. So, and I think it's Hermeticism. No, that's ancient. That's ancient Jewish magic, Hermeticism. But the idea is that they're continuing that, I suppose, right-hand path magical tradition, using, well, they have symbols all throughout their practices. I'm sure you've seen the compass that they use. I think it's a compass and a ruler.
Yeah, I think I've seen it.
Yeah. Or compass and a square. Sorry. And they have. I mean, that is literally what a stonemason uses. That's why they use that. But they use various different magical symbols as well, all the way throughout their practices. They have two different rites. I think they have the York rite and the Scottish rite. My grandfather, he followed the Scottish rite. They have 33 degrees of masonry. I guess the theory and the interest about them is that they kind of spread with the British Empire, so they were just about everywhere. Starting in medieval, I think 1500s Europe, and they'd spread pretty much just all the way throughout Europe. So I'm sure you've heard of the Illuminati.
Yeah.
That didn't start as a Masonic thing, but it very quickly became one because the person who led the Illuminati, or he wanted to establish the Illuminati, joined the Masons and then sort of tried to, and this was the Masons in Bavaria in Germany, which was very different from the Masons of the time of the United Kingdom and then later America. Because the Illuminati was established, I think the Illuminati was actually established in 1776, interestingly. They tried to piggyback, I suppose, off of the Freemasons and actually became very successful, and then they kind of pitted out of existence. So that's where a lot of the conspiracy theories come from. And of course they're a very large, secretive society, and so people are going to have their theories about them. They don't really explain a lot about their own practices, but a lot of them these days are free on the internet. You can just find them anywhere. Yeah, I actually haven't looked at them too much, but I think they're an interesting group.
So is Freemasons in, like, say, if you know, like in Tassie, is it like a huge thing, or is it very, very small?
It would have been big at one point.
Yeah.
I mean, we had there was a Freemasons hall down in Kingston that got burnt down in the 1967 bushfires.
Oh, yeah, right.
So it's been around. They've been around, and they expanded just about all over the state, and all over Australia as well.
So if you wanted to become one, how do you become one?
I think you have to be invited to join by one. But
right.
these I think you can just fill out an online form or visit one of their lodges and say, "Oh, look, I'd like to become a Mason," and then they invite you to become a Mason.
Yeah.
But you have to be invited to become a Mason. That's another part of their secrecy.
You going to do that?
No, I'm not. I don't want to become a Mason.
Not interested?
No, I think even if I were to join and I stayed within the lower levels, because you only have to complete, I think, 3 degrees if you become a Mason. And then from there on out, it becomes, from 4 through to 33. That's almost like I suppose merit badges.
Yeah.
Within the Scouts. That's how it's explained anyway.
Yeah.
But they make you swear oaths. And some of the oaths can be a bit spooky. They say, if you ever reveal the secrets of the Freemasons, then you're going to die. There's been people who have gone and supposedly revealed Freemasonic or Masonic spirits and then have ended up dead.
Really?
And, in relation, and their death somewhat correlated with the oath they would have taken to extend to whichever degree they were on at the time.
Yeah.
It's like it's not really a cult, or it could be a cult. I don't know. Some would call it a cult. Others not, but it's a fraternal organisation, I suppose. But many cults, I guess, operate on similar principles. So
yeah. My cousin Caleb is very, very much like you.
Oh, is he? Okay.
And when we're like with it, pretty much exact same. I think he's 6 months younger than me.
Oh yeah.
And he's when we grew up, we were pretty close.
Yep.
And probably from about 17, 18, we just sort of grew apart, and pretty much from that point on, we just never spoke, never seen each other. And the few times that I've saw him over the past few years, he goes on about conspiracies and history, and he just once you get him going, that's it. Like, he just doesn't stop.
It's understandable.
I thought I'd actually maybe I'll probably get him on at some point.
Yeah.
Because
Really
like
good to
he,
talk to.
yeah, well, because we're cousins, but we're like best mates growing up,
Yeah, that's good.
like inseparable.
Yep.
And because we drifted apart, I pretty much don't know him now.
Yeah.
And it'd be good to get him on to see where he's at with his head.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should do it. I think that'd be cool to get him on. Yeah.
Definitely introduce him to you. I think he's getting along. What's your friend group like? Is it big or small?
I'd say small at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have a lot of friends, but we don't really talk that often.
Yeah.
We don't keep up with each other. It's just how it is.
Does your girlfriend she on the same page with all your?
Not everything, but a few things. I think we come from similar points of understanding. And we can definitely. I mean, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be in a relationship.
Yeah.
We can absolutely talk about these kind of things.
She can hold her own.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's good.
That's it. Yeah. She doesn't blindly believe everything, but she doesn't. Just blow me off.
It could have been like she, if you start going about stuff, she'd be like, "No, shut up, I don't want to hear it."
Yeah, that's right.
Does that happen? That happen much?
No.
Yeah, that's good.
No. She likes to hear me talk.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I do too, Finn.
Oh, thank you, Adam. Thank you.
What do you how do you think the pyramids were made?
Pyramids of Giza. Oh, they're interesting. I don't know how necessarily how they're made, but there's a good few interesting.
Do you think they go under the ground?
Oh, they absolutely do go under the ground, and definitely further than what people are saying or what the official story is.
Yeah, way into the ground.
Oh, I don't know about.
And like the pyramids is like the tip of.
Oh, I don't.
Have you heard that theory?
Yeah, I've heard that theory. Yeah.
What do you have any beliefs, or do you?
Oh, I think the pyramid is what we see of it, but obviously there's going to be a lot more on the inside. People have been saying it was used to generate electricity acoustically, which I think.
What do you mean by that?
Use acoustics to generate electricity. So they had.
I was in like inside like the hollowness.
Yeah. So people have looked at the way the pyramids are set out, or what's been mapped of them at least, and there's been a few different materials, I suppose, found on the inside, and that leads people to think, things that are highly conductive, and that leads people to think that they might have been used to generate electricity, or some people to think that. I think, was it the Baghdad batteries as well? Yeah, so people theorise that they were batteries using, I think it was vinegar and lead submerged in the vinegar to hold a small charge, and people think that might have been something related with that, or because it was around roughly a similar time that it could have been that.
But how do you think? Because the interesting part that I think is like, when were they built?
They were ancient by the time of Cleopatra.
Because
I think it's 10,000.
There's questions of like back in those days, like those pyramids. I think even to this day, because obviously how big they are, and they're so fucking perfect. Like we're talking millimeters perfect.
Yeah. And the way they're oriented as well.
Yeah, and like then the stones are so fucking heavy and big. Like how did they get them so fucking perfect? Because like you imagine if. Like how big they are.
Yeah.
If, and this is what I've read, that if the stone was like a millimeter out at the bottom, and every now and again they were like by the time they got to the top, it would not be fucking perfect the way it is. No. So like back in those days, like how did they get that? Like they weigh tons.
Yeah.
How did they get that there? Because it come from, like where the pyramids are, where the stone come from was
the quarry
was like a long way, and like how the fuck
there's a lot of theories. I think a lot of people have looked at it. It's the same with I suppose Stonehenge, Göbekli Tepe, a good few other ancient structures. People have looked at them, and there's a few different theories. So obviously, there's the theory that they were rolled on logs.
Yeah, that's the one that I read.
Yeah. Some people have looked at it as well, that they were pushing on other smaller stones as well, so they were able to roll. So there's actually a guy who went ahead and built almost like his own Stonehenge, and he took the rocks from a quarry that was a good distance away, and this was in the United Kingdom, and the way he moved them was on little pebbles, effectively, and you could just.
But surely by the time they got there, they'd be fucking all broken and.
No, not necessarily. Depends how many little pebbles, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because that just seems like a rough fucking way to get tons of rock and stone or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and it's like they were carved perfectly. Yeah, it's just it's pretty crazy.
I think the theory is they had a ramp that was almost in a pyramidal structure, and then they were able to build it. They were able to move the rocks. They almost built it in a spiral pattern. That's how they built the pyramid itself. That's one theory I've seen. People thought that might be the most.
Would you want to go there one day?
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to see. Bit of a tourist hotspot, so a lot of people, unfortunately. But I think
have you been anywhere yet?
No.
Out of Australia?
No, not out of Australia. I haven't
you've
left the country.
You've been out of Tasmania?
Very briefly.
Where?
Broome.
Where's Broome? Queensland?
No, way northern Western Australia.
What'd you go there for?
We had cousins that were living in there.
She's laughing.
Living up there for a time. What's so funny about Broome?
Yeah, what's so funny about Broome?
No, it was just the fact that you didn't know where it was, baby.
Oh.
Bloody Queensland.
Oh, well. Okay, sorry.
So you're planning on going... Where do you want to go first?
Probably not a big city. I don't know. Maybe I'll go to Port Arthur and have a look around there first.
No, out of Australia.
Out of Australia. I think it would be cool to explore the fatherland, explore the United Kingdom a bit.
Yeah.
Explore Ireland as well. And then from there, maybe some of Eastern Europe would be interesting.
You know
Germany,
what? Like,
Bavaria.
I've been to America
Bavaria,
twice.
Germany. Oh yeah.
Been to LA and Vegas.
Yeah.
Twice, and I'd go every 3 months if I could. And
it's impressive.
I've had a few people say like, oh, you should go to the UK or that part of the world, and I've just got absolutely no interest whatsoever.
Oh, fair enough.
Like, it's just something that just doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
Like, the Eiffel Tower and London.
Yeah. I don't want to explore London. I don't want to get stabbed.
Look, it's pretty bad now, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be pretty dreadful.
Pretty fucked.
Yeah.
But
barely London anymore.
I want to do more of America.
Yeah, London.
I want to do
cool.
Nashville. I want to do New York.
New York.
Because I really want to go to where the World Trade Centers were.
Yep.
Like the memorial site.
Yeah.
That's on my bucket list. But Nashville, because it's music.
Yeah, yep.
And I've got a friend who lives in Texas, so I want to go there.
Yeah. Is it Austin, Texas? That's a hot spot for music, isn't it?
No, Nashville.
Oh, Nashville.
Yeah, that's the music hotspot.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought it used to be.
Just for country.
Right, country.
Yeah,
country.
Home of country, they call it.
Oh, sorry. It might have been rock for Austin.
I don't know that one. Maybe.
No, maybe I'm wrong.
But I want to explore America just a bit more.
Yep. And
then maybe, if I'm not too old, and I've got plenty of money, if the podcast takes off.
Yeah.
So after I did America, I want to do Canada.
Yep.
And then after that, maybe, fuck knows. But I don't know about you, but one thing, I don't know if it's embarrassing to say, but
go for it.
Like, I haven't even visited my own country.
Yeah, no.
Like, a lot of people say like they want to go to America and Europe and stuff like that. But they've been nowhere in Australia. Like there's so much to offer in Australia. But I've only ever been to Queensland, Gold Coast, Brisbane, Melbourne.
Yeah.
That's the only places I've ever been.
You've been to more than I have.
Yeah.
I've only been to Broome and Adelaide. So
You'll be going to Adelaide soon, won't you?
We'll see.
You want to tell the viewers and the listeners about Adelaide?
I only went there for 2 days with my girlfriend.
Oh, you didn't go there for work?
No, it wasn't for work. No. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about stuff at work.
I think it's just you're allowed to say that you.
Yeah.
You probably have you been asked to go to Adelaide?
No, I wasn't asked to go to Adelaide. So
Why was I asked before you?
You were asked?
Yeah,
really?
I was asked.
You were asked?
I was asked.
Because I didn't go to Queensland. They were going to send me to Queensland for a bit, but I was out at the last moment for personal reasons.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So they probably went, no, we're not going to send you to Adelaide in case you back out.
They come and ask me for a police check.
Yeah, right.
Which I didn't. I thought it was to go full time.
Yep. Yeah.
And then I was talking to a few people and they just didn't know why. And then Rob came back and I said to Rob, why would they ask for a police check? And he said, they'd be wanting to send you to Adelaide.
Yeah, right. I suppose that's when you become a full-time employee.
No, not even.
Really?
No. So,
you could send casuals.
So QB came out to me 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
When I was upstairs.
Yep.
And he came out and said, I was like, Adam, would you want to go to Adelaide for 2 weeks?
Bloody hell.
And I just said, I can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got gigs on weekends.
Yeah, that's it. You got stuff you have to do.
I kind of said, maybe if you flew me back
for the gigs,
gig like every weekend. I don't think they'd look at that. But
no.
Yeah, I wouldn't go.
No, absolutely.
And plus, I've heard that it's almost not worth it.
No,
in terms of money and stuff.
No, it'd be interesting if you haven't travelled much like myself. Yeah. But other than that, I've heard of.
But you're working 6 days a week anyway.
Yeah.
There's not much time to do anything.
No.
When you finish work, you want to go home and go back to your hotel and just fucking rest.
I guess it's the prestige of saying, I went away. But that's about it, really,
But every person that's come back the last time, I've asked them, and no one said, that was fucking great.
No.
They've all been unhappy,
I've heard back in the day it used to be you'd come home and they treated you like you were a hero and you've saved the company and, it was a bit like that. That's what you never met him, but Andrew Dance said, not Daniel Andrews, but Andrew Daniels. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to share with us, Finn?
Share?
Yeah, because you've probably been thinking about this podcast for a few days.
Yeah, I have a bit, yeah.
Is there anything that you're thinking that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I'm all ears, mate.
All right.
You're here to give me a lesson.
All right.
And all the viewers.
Okay. This one's not history, is that okay?
That's fine.
All right. Okay. So there's a bill coming out. Interesting bill. Could threaten you even, Adam. Combating misinformation and disinformation bill. Have you heard of it? No. Okay. It's a bill that effectively allows the ACMA, the Australian Communications and Media Authority, to set standards that force, online media platforms. So I think, Twitter, Facebook, you use TikTok, Spotify, YouTube. Sorry, X, not Twitter. To set standards to say what effectively is banned content and what is approved content. And those standards are decided upon. The ACMA decides, that's good enough, that's not good enough. And it's all based on, the idea is combating misinformation and disinformation. So the standard there is to censor, effectively. Obviously, misinformation and disinformation is something very difficult to define.
Yeah.
They have a definition, but it's all based on opinion because it's something that is reasonably verifiable as false.
How do they police that though?
So if your company is found to not be keeping up its standard, or keeping to its standard, the standard which has been approved or set by the ACMA, then it will be fined up to, I think, 5% global annual turnover.
Really?
Yeah.
So does this only apply to business owners?
No. This applies. This doesn't apply to people who use the platform.
So if
But
I just post on Facebook,
yeah, but your content could still be removed based on those grounds. So if the companies don't if they don't keep to their standard, then they get fined. So to keep to their standard, they have to censor you. So ultimately, it comes back on independent people, independent journalists, people who make make media, make videos, make.
Where did you hear? Where'd you hear that?
I've been looking at this for a while. You can find stuff about it on YouTube. That's where some of the stuff where I found out about it. Telegram. It's another place. I keep emailing the Parliament occasionally as well.
Do you?
Asking them for updates on it so that I know what's going on.
And they get back to you?
No, not always. Sometimes.
Just keep writing letters. Just keep doing it.
4 weeks later, once it's already outdated information.
So is this is based on the First Amendment of America? Is that?
No, this is in Australia.
Only Australia?
This is Australia. Yeah. This is an Australian thing, but it would have global impact as well because
that's the First Amendment of America's free speech.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. The First Amendment. Yeah. We don't really have that in Australia, unfortunately. Yeah. But it's the same thing. Like they're taking away
being able to say what you want and free speech and stuff like that. Like it's slowly. Like I think, like I said before to you, where do you think the world will be in 50 to 100 years?
Yeah.
Can you imagine in 50 years' time?
To an extent, I think it'd either in 50 years there's going to be some kind of revolution or revolt because people got sick of being handled.
What do you mean, like a reset?
Not a globe, not a not a reset as well. Could have been, reset as peddled by groups like the World Economic Forum. This is going back on conspiracy theories.
What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, well, let's go on that topic. What do you think of 2030? The
2030 plan.
Yeah, because that's meant to be the global reset.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I think it's dreadful.
Do you think that's the plan?
I think some of it is. I think they're adhering to ideas of the plan.
Yeah.
Different groups are peddling different ideas of the plan. World Economic Forum being one of the main ones, which a lot of politicians are suspiciously a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on COVID? The jab.
I don't.
We can talk about it now.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It used to be that you couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
You get fucking banned off YouTube, but now
exactly. Well, it'd be that'd be misinformation.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
If you said certain things about it, I think a lot of that's where that came from, really. I didn't personally get it. Again, I understand why people did because they were whipped into fear, thinking that if they didn't, then they would die. Which we now know to be misinformation and disinformation, that you wouldn't die if you didn't get it. And in fact, actually, it was only if you're very old or incredibly unhealthy that might push you over the edge and kill you.
Yeah.
Maybe, but not necessarily.
And now we've learnt that it's just another flu.
Yeah, effectively. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but it was personally, my personal opinion. Feel free to say yours, of course. It's your show. Personally, I think it was used almost as a test, as a way of seeing how far they could spread fear of a silent, invisible enemy, like the war is. War on terror, similar deal.
100%. Yeah. Just used to, kind of like when it all finished, it was like, oh, that worked. How far could we take that? Oh, that's
That's it.
But I think they kind of fucked up because, like, if that is the case, it was just more like a test and see how far they could control the world, which they did.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about if it was to happen again?
Yep.
In 3 years' time, there's another pandemic.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, on the news, everywhere you look, it's wear a mask, distance, stay at home. Do you think we're all just going to?
I think the majority of people would.
You think?
Majority of people already did, and they didn't get up in arms about it. They might have said after the fact, "Oh, well, that was terrible," if they even care to admit that at all. But most people, they won't even talk about it.
Yeah,
they'll say, "Oh, no, you just." You conspiracy theorist, be quiet.
I know
they buy into the censorship. They self-censor and then they censor other people as well they put people down. They call you a crackpot.
Yeah.
Even if that's
It's
not
fucking
even
amazing
true.
how so many people are fucking desensitised by, media and that. Because I think it was all a fucking load of shit.
Yeah, yeah. I'll see.
And basically the person that brought out what was the jab? What was it called?
So there was a few different ones. So there was Moderna. Sorry, that's making sense.
Yeah, and what was the other one?
So there was Moderna. There was the Russian one called Sputnik, I believe it was called. There was
what was the name?
Pfizer.
Yeah, that one. So that one, I
AstraZeneca
think
as
it
well.
was Pfizer. I think. So the guy that had made that come out and said that actually that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Saw that?
I
Yeah.
saw that. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? This is like get 2 jabs, get 3 jabs, and then all of a sudden actually that doesn't actually work.
What are we up to? Like 8 now?
It's fucked, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There's also I'm sure you remember AstraZeneca. That was proven at the time to have been causing blood clots.
Yeah.
But still people didn't listen. People said, "Oh, it's just a single case, or it's rare, very rare cases."
Yeah.
People still don't talk about it. Myocarditis is going up. Heart failures are going up.
Yeah.
Massive, unprecedented spike. We're seeing excess deaths. I think last time I checked, about 300,000 excess deaths Australia-wide. Yes, I believe Australia-wide, and this is deaths, unexpected deaths.
Yeah.
When you count, you figure in numbers such as the COVID, the death rate of COVID-19. You factor in sort of the average deaths, old age, and other various things.
Yeah.
You're still getting in excess of, I think, 300,000 or something.
And I think like before COVID, you never ever really saw like random deaths, did you, at young ages? And all of a sudden, like in the last 4 or 5 years, you've just randomly seen
soccer players and stuff just dropping dead, people in peak of their physical, peak physical form, just collapsing.
Fairly young, like heart attack, heart problems, and clots and all that sort of stuff. It's like fuck, that's just crazy.
Yeah, and people still. And it's not the people, it's not their fault, because they're told constantly over and over and over again, do not believe these ideas, or you yourself are the enemy, sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
You yourself you're one of the propagators of this silent, this silent, invisible enemy.
Yeah.
And that's the fear now. So it was the virus, but now the fear that's disseminated amongst the public, and that's how they're able to push this combating misinformation and disinformation bill. And some people eat it up, not as many as they're saying, but some people. They're able to do this because they've turned citizen on citizen, on neighbour against neighbour, because they might be, a racist conspiracy theorist or whatever other buzzword they want to send out, and that breaks down social cohesion, and then they can step in and say, it's all right, we'll save you, and they force people into their little bubble, and from there they can just take control and control every aspect of your life. They did that on during the war on terror. They're doing it. They did it during COVID-19 to a much bigger scale. Created massive wealth transfer. A lot of you didn't get people. I think it was no one had over $200 billion before COVID-19, and now suddenly you've got a good few, and a lot of them are at the head or had stock in medical companies.
Yeah,
so,
that's right. Yeah,
huge wealth transfer.
Melbourne was the biggest city. To have lockdowns.
Really?
Yeah, in the world.
Right. I didn't know that.
Melbourne was on top of the list of the most. I think it was the longest time of being locked down. Yeah,
they were also. Melbourne also was part of the United Nations Strong Cities initiative as well. So you see,
was it?
Yeah, you see how all their police were almost effectively militarized. Yeah. No other state has that.
Yeah,
not even Tasmania. We have special forces, but we don't have that.
Do you follow Avi Yemeni?
I've looked at him a little bit, but he's not someone I've looked at too much.
You should.
I've heard.
He's basically just news reporter that tells the truth, basically.
Yeah. I've looked a little bit at him.
Yeah, he's really good.
A little bit of conflict of interest with him, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I like him. I think he's political and
Yeah.
he's biased on a lot of things.
Yeah, of course. Well, Israel is going to have he's Jewish, so he's going to have...
But, he was when the whole Gaza thing happened, when it first happened, he was fucking there on the border.
Really?
He spent fucking 14 days on the border with him and a cameraman.
Yeah, right.
Reporting when it first happened.
Yeah, right. That's interesting.
Like, you wouldn't want to get any fucking way near it, and he was literally right there with a fucking hard hat.
That's impressive.
I think you should get on to him because he's really good with that sort of stuff. And
reminds me a bit of Lord Miles, a gentleman who was there during the fall of Kabul. Just a British guy who decided to take a holiday to Afghanistan.
Really?
Documented a lot of it, yeah.
In what year?
This fall of Kabul, so just in the last few years.
Yeah.
So in 2020, I think.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, 2021. Sorry.
Do you get yourself involved with war related stuff or not really?
I've never picked up a gun to go and kill someone, so no, not in that way.
No, I hope not.
No, I don't really get too much involved because war is so difficult to actually cover. There's always going to be so many different sides to look at. So I don't really look at the wars so much. It's more what the governments are doing in relation to them that concerns me. Obviously, the war is of massive concern to the people who are there and to the people back here, but I can't take any sides. I can never take any sides because 9 times out of 10, both sides are so insanely corrupt.
Do you have an opinion on what's going on now in Palestine and Israel? Anything?
I think I can understand why Jewish people or why Jewish leaders are acting in such a way. They're very insular. As much as they like to, in general, a lot of them like to say that they peddle ideas of diversity and inclusion, yada, yada, yada. They're very Jewish first.
Yeah.
As, it's completely understandable. They do believe themselves to be God's chosen people if they follow their own religion. Especially the ultra-Orthodox ones who are rising to power within Israel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, it's a horrible thing that people got attacked, innocent people died. There's going to be innocent people on both sides. But our government and a lot of the Western governments, there's obviously a massive amount of conflict of interest there between us, the Goyim, people of no Jewish descent, and people of Jewish descent. There's going to be a huge conflict of interest because they believe themselves to be God's chosen people, and then that comes down on the Palestinians on the ground.
Yeah,
that was a bit of a roundabout way of saying things. Sorry, but I hope that made some sense. That of course they're going to be treating them in such a way, because yes, there are belligerents within Palestine, absolutely, or within Gaza. But for the most part, their carelessness towards the people in that general area I disagree.
Yeah,
vehemently with it.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like when Trump's doing his all his camp stuff at the moment, and he gets the question about how you're going to stop the war in Israel at the moment. The question is like, who do you want to win? Like, what a fucking question is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Because his answer's always like, I don't want anyone to win. I want people to stop dying.
Yeah. No,
which is like the perfect answer. But
that's a good response.
The reporters are saying like, they've said it a few times to him, like, who do you want to win this war?
Yeah, they want some kind of response.
Yeah, they do.
Can spin it either way. If they say that if he says that the Israelis, then it's going they're going to spin it that he wants all the Palestinians to die. If he says the Palestinians, then they're going to call him a Nazi. They're going to say he hates Jews.
Yeah,
exactly it's easy to say.
But he's sticking with that. He's said it a few times. Like every time they ask him, he's always like, I just want people to stop dying.
Yeah,
I don't know if someone's told him to say that.
Yeah.
But it's like the easy way out of...
Oh, certainly. Certainly the easiest way out,
Finn, we're going to have a few questions now.
Yeah, all right. That sounds good.
See how smart you are with the history.
We'll We'll see. Yeah, I'll probably say I don't know for a lot of them, but
We do this for most people.
oh,
No,
And,
I've kept it easy.
Oh, good.
Easy-ish.
oh, thank you.
Anyway.
What do we got?
Oh, not more so for Adam Finn, not for you.
Oh well, that's very flattering.
All right. First one is, what is the nickname for Tasmania? So you've got Little Island, Apple Isle, Pear Island, or the Australian Apple.
Apple Isle.
Apple Isle, yeah.
Hang on, it's going to just take its sweet time.
You should know that.
Me?
Yeah.
Why would I know that?
You live here now and you got to know history.
Oh, okay.
It's Apple Isle though.
Yes, that's true.
The short nickname's Tassie.
Well, that's
Yeah.
That's shorter than Apple Isle.
People do call us the Apple Isle, though.
That's true. All right. Next one is.
That was easy.
I told you it was pretty easy. Okay, so what is the name of the river that Hobart lies along?
Derwent River.
Don't River.
See, I told you I kept it super easy.
Come on.
What is the second largest city in Tassie?
It'd be
Launceston.
Launceston.
Yeah. Okay. So you see, I'm giving you.
Oh,
a
no, that's all right. It's getting a little bit.
no,
It's getting better.
I
Yeah.
think
We're 1 for 1 now.
All right. This one might be a bit harder. What are the names of the two major colleges in Launceston, grades 11 and 12?
Oh,
Hobart, Launceston College.
Well, you've got Launceston College and Launceston Christian College, like school.
yep.
Elizabeth College and Launceston College. Newstead College and Launceston College. Or Newstead College and Scotch Oakburn College.
Newstead and Launceston.
Newstead and Launceston. What do you reckon, Finn?
I'm going to say Launceston Christian College just to shake it up.
Just to shake it up.
I used
I
to
reckon
live.
that
I used to
is
live
right
up there.
Okay, I've got no clue.
Don't forget to change the cameras.
Yeah. Multitask. Okay.
You got the answer?
No, it's not giving it to me, actually. So I think I've got to pick them all at the end. Hang on 2 seconds.
Pretty sure it's Newstead though, because I used to live up there.
Oh, yeah.
Newstead's massive.
Yeah, it is out of either Newstead College and Launceston College or the Launceston College and Launceston Christian School. So
Christian school, sorry, not Christian college.
Yeah.
Same thing.
What is the name of the town that has Australia's oldest bridge?
Richmond.
Yeah, it'd have to be Richmond.
Yeah. Yep. Well done. I thought you'd be a bit
quicker.
quicker on that one.
Come on, Finn.
No, sorry,
All right,
you said
next one.
Tasmania's oldest, and I was thinking Tasmania's oldest town. I was thinking Georgetown.
That was an option.
Yeah.
So
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. No, but it is Richmond. No, it's Richmond.
Come on, Finn.
That's 1807, I think, isn't it?
In what area can the biggest single-span suspension bridge in the southern hemisphere be found? So you've got Georgetown, Rowella, Sidmouth, or Beaconsfield.
It's not Georgetown.
Now, what was it? What was the first one?
Yeah, Georgetown,
Yeah.
Rowella, Sidmouth, or Beaconsfield.
Sidmouth, isn't it?
Rowella.
Sidmouth.
Oh, it is. That was a guess. So
That's a good one.
Didn't know that one.
All right. This is one for Finn. Where was, well, actually, both you should know this pretty bloody quickly because you're just talking about it. But where was
All right, hold on. Quickest answer. Go again.
Okay. So where was Tasmania's first settlement?
Roosting Cove.
Yeah, that was a pretty easy one. All right. And what was the original name of Tasmania?
Van
And
Diemen's
Damon's
Land.
Land.
There we go. Well done. That's what I've got.
Oh, that's it.
Good.
Thank
We're pretty much
Thank
one
you
for
very
one.
much. Yeah, just about. I think.
Oh, you won one.
Oh,
You guessed one better than me.
guessed. Yeah.
Well done.
Yes.
I can hear that outro music now.
You know me.
Ah, Finn, it's been good to have you in, mate, and have a chat about history and
Thank you very much.
dive deep into your brain a bit more. I've got to work with you every day, so I'm going to get this more and more and more.
Yeah,
But it's a pleasure having you in, mate.
oh, likewise. Thank you. It was good to be here. Thank you very much.
No worries at all.
Thank you.
You like that?
Yeah, that was good. Thank you.
Yeah, you have fun?
Yeah, that was excellent. Thank you very much.